I mean, I've started the live stream, but there's only a couple of people there so far. You should say hello in the chat so I know that, you're at least alive. I'll wait another few seconds just to see if anyone else turns up. Oh, well, good evening. I'm Stilgherrian, and this is the third live stream in the Great Unboxening series. Thank you for joining me, all of a tiny handful of people so far tonight. I will plough ahead anyway. Hello to Oberon's Ghost. Hello to Sebastian Tauchman. So very good to see you, you generous soul, you. And to Brenton Ralph, hi. There's someone else there, I think. I'll say hello as we go along. Now, what's this about? Well, I'm Stilgherrian. I've recently moved from the Blue Mountains, west of Sydney, down to Sydney after a gap of 15 years. And this series, The Great Unboxening, well, I think everyone watching the stream right now knows this, but I'll do it anyway for those of you who come along at some point in the future. I was only meant to be in the Blue Mountains for a few weeks, and it ended up being 15 years. So all the things that I had, around, I'd put in storage, and I've been pulling them out after 15 years, a decade and a half. And that includes books, it includes vinyl records, which will be part of our focus tonight. All manner of things. There's CDs, there's DVDs. We'll get to them as this process goes along. And I want to get rid of it. So if you look at the comments below, you'll see a link to a spreadsheet with some records in it. I'll run through some of them tonight. Anyone can make an offer to buy them from me before they all go off to wherever it is that records go. I will say, for those who've been asking, 1/3 of the stuff in storage went missing. It was all stored in 3 modules, as the industry calls them, and one of the modules could not be found in the warehouse. They may have lost track of it completely. So there is in that 1 crate of vinyl records. I've got one here. We're going to talk about that tonight. 1 box out of 14 of the books, a fridge, my Aeron chair, a microwave oven, all manner of things. Half my bed, half the bits of my bed. So I'm still sleeping on the mattress on the floor like a impoverished university student. Now, if you do go through and have a look at the list of vinyl, you'll also see a link there to a list of all the books. Only about 3 of the books have gone so far. And if you want to see the whole process, that's the URL there, stilgherrian.com/relocate. That actually goes to a GoFundMe page, which is chugging along. You can read all the background to this. But for the moment, let's have a look at some of the vinyl. Now, there's about, 55 records in the crate. They're all listed. How about I pull some of them out and see if they have a story attached to them? Yeah? Let's do that. Okay. you'll see it's a big list. Here's one. So you'll notice I've put one of the Peter Gabriel albums in there. Look at that. Special price, Virgin Music, $9.99 in old money. That's Peter Gabriel 2, I think it was, which was called Scratch. I used to listen to a lot of Peter Gabriel. I listened to a lot of Genesis. I listened to a lot of that prog rock shit. You'll see some other prog rock in there. Missing from that big batch of records is a whole bunch of King Crimson. Oh dear. Oh dear. Next that I've pulled out, I'm just going to chuck them down there. I was, and still am, how's best to do that? There we go. Brian Eno, a very important music producer of the 70s and 80s and into the 90s, I guess. Shall I tell the Brian Eno story? No, I shall not. But he invented the term ambient music. This was not the first thing he did which was along those lines, but this was the first one of a series. I think there are 4 altogether. You'll see 3 of them, 1, 2, and 4 on the spreadsheet. I do have the other number 3 as well somewhere. That must be in the other crate. But this was the first one, music for airports. And I love the design on these albums. If you flip around and look at the back, there's the score of the music. What a wanker. That's Brian Eno for you. I just think that's an important album, and you know, people should have it. I should also say this is a very eclectic mix of stuff in the crate, as you'll see if you look through the list. Most of them are, it's fair to say, they're average condition. I'm not aiming at the collector market, although there is some stuff coming up that I think is worth that. I think it's more aimed at people who just want to listen to music and on vinyl. Now, back in the 80s, my very first radio work was presenting classical music. Huge fan. I was a huge fan of this Johann Sebastian Bach. There's a double album there of the English suites. Kenneth Gilbert playing it on the... Is he properly doing it on a harpsichord? Yes, he is. People play these on a piano now, and that's just wrong. And then there's a pianist by the name of Glenn Gould who fucking just does not understand Bach. And so many people bought his records back in the day. Glenn Gould, look him up. Quite frankly, I don't think he understands Baroque music at all. Sells a lot of records. Kenneth Gilbert understands Baroque music. There's some more Bach in there too. You have to list under the performer, composer. Yeah, listing classical music is different from listing popular music. But there we go. Adam Kent. Hi, Adam. Yeah, it is a gem, that Eno one. I've got several others. I have a whole bunch of early Eno albums, which again must be in the other crate. I did mention the King Crimson. I'll be reminded of stuff as I go along, I think. Oh, yeah, there's some Pink Floyd in the list. The ones in this crate are Medal, Relics, Dark Side of the Moon, and Wish You Were Here. I'm sure I have some of the others. There's Talking Heads' Little Creatures in this box. I do have other Talking Heads I know. A lot more Bach. Who else is there? Mentioned Eno. Some other bits and pieces. Let's pull the next one I've chosen is this. Not many people know about this. Let me pull that back there. This is Cybotron. This album is called The Clear Light of Jupiter, and it's early Australian electronica. I would have seen these guys... I'll have to get rid of me. Just look at that. Hello. This is going to ruin the sound. But I did see them play live once, and they looked exactly like that. 70s blokes with long hair and analog synthesizers. I really like this album. If someone wants that, it'd better be, I think, a good offer. All of these records, by the way, they're a little bit scuffed. I mean, they've been listened to, I think, is the important thing to mention. I've taken them out of their sleeves generally so that they don't, so you can see them on camera. You know, just the scuffed edges like that. But the vinyl itself is fine. Look that up, Cybotron, and look for the Australian one. It's dated. They're from Melbourne. Oh, come on. Put the year on things. What is wrong with these people? Just allow me to... 1976. 1976, that's from. Oh, come on. There we go. Now, also from the 1970s, again, this is something very, very special. Supernaut, their self-titled album, Supernaut, which included their first hit single, I Like It Both Ways, produced by Molly Meldrum of Countdown fame and played heavily on Countdown. There was no corruption in the music industry in those days, nor any conflicts of interest. Now, what's special about this, I mean, you can see that, oh, I'm still not used to doing this. You can see that the cover is starting to delaminate. And I mean, just look at what they're wearing. Isn't that just fabulous stuff? But the important thing here is that this is an autographed copy. I'm not quite sure how clear that will be visible, but there are signatures there. All four of them. From, I want to say 76. Again, from 1976. Let's not think about how I managed to get those signatures. Now, do you know the illustrator and occasional author Edward Gorey, Gorey? I forgot to bring the book over for that. Does wonderful Gothic style illustrations and stories that are, spooky and horrible. Well, a musician by the name of Michael Mantle. One of the stories is called The Hapless Child, and I can read some of it because the words are here. Inside, there are words. So The Hapless Child is one of those alphabet books for kids. Oh no, it's structured as, I'm thinking of something else, but it's structured as a kid's book. And The Hapless Child. Oh, no, I don't want to read all that. But they're wonderful stories. Definitely not stories for kids as such. And Michael Mantler set them to music with Robert White, Carla Bley, Steve Swallow, Jack DeJohnette, and Terry Ripdell. If you know who they are, you'll go, oh, wow, that's a fantastic thing to have. I think 95% of the people who view this will go, what the fuck is that? Who knows? And finally, of those I've pulled out, how dare you, Wolfcat? That autographed version of Supernaut is most probably worth Supernaut. Good joke. And every now and then, because I worked in radio and thing, we'd get white label promo copies. There's something incredibly important. Melissa's Skin to Skin 12-inch single, It's a shame Snarky Platypus has wandered off because that's exactly the sort of thing that he would want. And I'll pull out one more. Let's pull that off its sleeve. I listened to a ton of stuff on the ECM label, which was mostly European experimental jazz. And they had minimalist covers like that. This is Nana Vasconcelos, who, well, he's an interesting performer. There he is. I believe they're traditional African instruments. This is in a category that some of it you would call world music these days, which I always thought was a kind of patronising label. It's world music as opposed to, white Western music. All music is world music. You can probably understand the point I'm trying to make. There's quite a bit of ECM label stuff. I should have probably tagged the label in that spreadsheet. Please make offers for the vinyl. I'm broadly aware of what a fair price would be, but I'm also interested in moving it. If you happen to be in Sydney, you can arrange to collect, or depending on where you are, I might be able to deliver. Otherwise, it's postage and packaging, and depending how many that's going to be, in the $15 to $20 mark. Because I've still got to find the sleeves, the mailer boxes that you put 12-inch vinyl in. Australia Post used to just have them, but they don't now. They're still listed on the Australia Post website, but they're not taking orders for them. And there are plenty around. There's a number of packaging companies that make them, but you've got to order them like in boxes of 50 or 100 or whatever, and I probably don't need that many. That may end up being what I have to do. So in the word process, if you're a supporter or following me on the socials or whatever, you're obviously finding out about this first. So, you get first dibs, and then I'll start putting them up on places like Gumtree, and I'm told Discogs or whatever. I'm sure there are specialist places to do it. And then, because I've been given a deadline by the end of May to move all of this crap out of the apartment, did I just kick the camera? I did. Okay. Sorry, that distracted me. I will just take it down to vinyl stores and get a shitty price for it. So I'd much rather have a semi-shitty price from you and have the music go to someone I like, rather than some nobody. Now, last time I did talk about books. I've linked again down there to the whole list of books. Please make offers. I'm moving a few of them, but a lot more really do need to go. Last week, there was one of the books I could not find because over there behind the camera is just this enormous pile of books on the floor. But the book I was trying to find was one of those listed as a special, which is Carl Sagan's Murmurs of Earth. So when the Voyager spacecraft was sent out, they had this on it, which was a record. And because they didn't know whether aliens finding the spacecraft would have record players, they included a stylus and instructions for how to wire it up. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, this is the book explaining the process of getting that approved, of selecting things, all of that kind of stuff. And there are later editions of this book which have like a CD in the back of the record. You can download it from the NASA website. You don't need it. But this, again, shows the story. It's all very, I suppose, 1970s, isn't it? That's when Voyager went off. First edition, 78. There we go, 1978. And it's got incredibly badly reproduced copies of all of the photographs. Some of the better photographs in colour. The track list and so on. We used to accept that as the kind of print quality of photographs in books. Atrocious. While we're on the topic of music, and I'll just do 2 more books and then I'll bugger off unless you have any questions, the few of you there. This by Bill Drummond, one half of the KLF, his book 45, which he wrote when he was 45 years old, and talks about his approach to creativity and art and so on. Great condition, apart from the... See, some of the books have just been in storage. That's not really going to work, is it? Oh, there we go. It's got little, some slight staining on the outside. That's on the list. That is great. I think I've said I'll sell it for $45 since the book is $45. Let me check the spreadsheet. Yeah. Oh, 30. Mate, bargain. I should have said 45, eh? It's on the list for $30. Two more things. Friend of the pod, John Birmingham, who's mostly known for he died with a falafel in his hand, and all his airport novels, the Axis of Time series, his techno thrillers. This, Leviathan, it's a biography of the city of Sydney, not a history, although it did win the History Book of the Year awards in the year it came out, which would have been 1990. Good. What's that in there? Oh, photos. Right. Okay. It's a slip of paper. Whoop. Oh, it's flaring. There we go. It's just got a list of words on it. And it says, page 22 to 31, then on page 22 to 23, ubiquitous, consign, ravage, debauch, thoroughfare, garret, totter, scrofula, sermonise. Oh shit, I hope this isn't someone's code. Page 24 to 25, contagion, emanate, urchin, governor, sneer, thrash, and pit. I'm not quite sure. It's not my handwriting, although I can barely read my own handwriting these days anyway, which is amusing given I had calligraphy as a hobby at one point. Contaminate, thrust, forlorn, codify, arbitrary, mitigate, revel. That really does feel like someone's code book that I've just stumbled across. There's another one. Same sort of thing. And, oh my God. A Pizza Haven voucher. Is Pizza Haven still a thing? I mean, I assume not. Does it have an expiry date on it? Excuse me with glasses off, but valid until the 16th of November 2004. We've just missed it. Oh, dear. 3 Haven half chickens delivered from $17.90. Wow. That's... I tell you what, if you get the book, I'll include all this shit. Is there another code book in there? Oh, there is. I have no idea whose handwriting that is. There's another one. I'll make inquiries. The final one I want to mention, and I forgot to find the bit I wanted to read to you. Let me see if I can... Oh! Look at what this has in as its bookmark. A punch card. Wolfcat's saying that Mrs. Wolfcat did pizza delivery for them, Pizza Haven, I assume, in Adelaide back in the early 90s. That would make sense because I moved from Adelaide to Sydney in 1995. And I associate it with Pizza Haven, that is, with Adelaide. Don't mind me, I'm just trying to find the bit of this book I wanted to read. No, Lin Yutang. He was a Chinese scholar, a modern Chinese scholar, a bit of a Confucianist. He left China for the United States in, I want to say, the 1920s or 1930s for obvious reasons. And he wrote a bunch of stuff in English as well as in Chinese. So stuff about Confucian thought, a book called My Country and My People, which is kind of his explainer of China. This book, the cover, hardcover, The Importance of Living, and it's got beautiful end papers. They're called end papers, aren't they? The thing you have just inside the cover of a book to hold it together. The Importance of Living. And it's one of those books, well, he talks about the differences between Chinese culture, and it's all a bit, Confucianist middle class rather than the peasantry. On the difference. So there's a whole section called On Having a Stomach, which is about the importance of food, and it complains about the Western habit of a restaurant having tablecloths which have to stay neat and use the right cutlery and sit up straight and don't put your elbows on the table and don't spill things and have the fork the right way up, as opposed to just, getting into it and enjoying it and trashing the tablecloth and generally enjoying the food. Chapter 7, for example, is called The Importance of Loafing. Section 1, Man the Only Working Animal. Something about Jesus said something about the birds too, although the problem is I can only remember the Monty Python send-up of that. Wolfcat's saying the first Pizza Haven outlet was Glenelg in Adelaide, which was there. And then, well, there is a suburb of Adelaide that has Haven in the name. Culture, as I understand it, is essentially a product of leisure. The art of culture is therefore essentially the art of loafing. From the Chinese point of view, the man who is wisely idle is the most cultured man, for there seems to be a philosophical contradiction between being busy and being wise. Those who are wise won't be busy, and those who are too busy can't be wise. The wisest man is therefore he who loafs most gracefully. It's a great book. This is a printing from, the preface is signed by Lin Yutang in 1937. He was living in New York at that stage. And it has someone's name and address in it. I think that's N.H. Tillett, at least the surname is Tillett, 119 Anzac Highway, Coralta Park, 1957. That's the year, not the postcode. This printing is from 1955. I'm still very confused about going back to these other things in that. Are they just sort of interesting words I've found in his book? Okay. No, the stream hasn't frozen. I just wandered off for a bit. That's all I wanted to say tonight. I'll be back with another of these one evening next week. I'm not sure which evening that is. I'll try and plough through the digital stuff, CDs and DVDs, and get those up on the list. If they find the lost module from the warehouse, then I'll get the second crate of records up. Go over to here, over to here, and have a look at, the list. You have to look at the updates to see the lists. I'll try and get a specific page up for the Great Unboxening. There will be more and more obscure things as May goes on. It's the 30th of April as I speak to you now. So May starts tomorrow, and through the course of the month, I'll do something once each week to just run through some stuff, and hope that you will send in offers so that I don't have to go to all the trouble of listing it for the Great Unwashed. Now, before I go, is there anything else you wanted to ask me? I'm just looking to see if there's anything in the messages and in I'll have a look at this. Just see if there anyone. What's it called? That thing. Oh, Blue Sky. Yeah, Blue Sky. No, I think the few people who are paying attention are here. I'll try and do these on a Tuesday night. Thursday night doesn't seem to be as good for most people. Tuesday night was traditionally the evening on which more people were using the internet than other nights for some reason. That's way back. That knowledge is 20 years out of date, and probably when people did things like surf the web. Oh, dear. Any other questions? Pizza there. If I break the internet, it's my fault. Are they a working list of potential death metal album names? Quite probably. That really does confuse me. I just wish I knew whose handwriting is that had my book. As I say, it's not my writing. Burlap, braid, cascade, abscond, pewter, subterfuge, laudable collusion. All right, on that note, I'm going to bugger off. You know where to find me. If you want to contribute to all of this madness of me moving, I'm still struggling a bit. I have been very bad at explaining why. And I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.